Hello everybody and welcome to Civ House. I'm Rob and today I'm going to be taking you guys through the latest developer update for March 2025. I will say I watched this live and now I feel like it's a good time to talk about it. They're going to be releasing more for 1.1.1 tomorrow, it would seem, or the next day. I am going to do a video on that where we do a full breakdown, but I wanted to kind of talk through these points that they talk about a little bit more, I guess, loosely, openly, since it's not going to be all typed out. I know that, he's probably reading from a script, but I do think that this is important because there are a lot of issues that people are having. Civ 7's player base is on the decline without a doubt. And I'm hopeful that, these changes and stuff will bring people back. They're going to need some big updates, and including, there's a big update on the DLC as well that we'll be talking about. But before we dive in, I'm going to ask that you guys like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any Civ 7 content that we're putting out here at Civ House. And let me know in the comments section below what you guys think of these updates. But let's just watch these together. I thought that this would be a best way of kind of talking through some of this stuff. So here we go with Ed Beach.
Civ fans. Ed Beach here, creative director at Fraxis Games for the Civilization franchise.
Yes, and the mastermind behind the Exploration Age.
1.1 update for Civilization 7 is releasing tomorrow. So I'm here to go over some of the major highlights before you get those full notes on release day.
Yep, here's the
Let's
first
start
one. This
things
is
off with a
interesting.
highly requested feature, Quick Move.
Okay, can we talk about, like, they're leading off with Quick Move? Why? I get it. Like, it's a big part of a lot of people's games. They enjoy it. I think it absolutely helps, but I don't understand the reasoning to lead off with this and, like, make it like it's this big new feature that they just brought into the game. Like, we've had this. Why do we need a toggle for it like this? I don't know.
Immediately. So you can play
I just
through
don't
your games even faster.
I'm sorry, but
Another
that
big
shouldn't be
update
something that's
is
celebrated
we've
like it
added a
is.
new
It should just
start
be in it.
position option related to map generation.
This one's
So,
good though.
Our new default for single-player games is called Standard, which will feel
This
a
is
lot
good.
like Civ 6, where the continents are more varied and less predictable.
Yay!
For
Yay!
multiplayer games in Civ 7
Okay, real quick. Let's go back to this. Wait, where's this at?
is we've added a new start position.
Oh, did I go too fast? No, not yet. 1 second. Let's see here.
Which will feel a lot like Civ 6,
There we go. Okay, this is great. Look at how spread out they are. Look at the map. It looks so much different. Look at where the waterways are going now. I wonder how, the rivers, I guess maybe this is the navigable rivers, is going to be like in these areas, like around here. Maybe I guess a little bit there too. But like, yeah, I mean, look, everything's spaced out in an interesting way. I like that, this individual is on a continent by themselves. I think that's great. This map looks interesting to play, and it's not a freaking block anymore, which is great. Like, they needed to do that. I just with these first two updates here, let's talk about this for a second. These are things that should have been in the game from the beginning. I am not going to praise them for putting these things in there just randomly now, like over a month after the game has come out. I will always praise these devs because I know they're doing their best. Okay, so I'm going to lead off more with that. Like, I respect that they are working and doing their best, but this should have been in the game from the start. I don't even understand how this was not considered. Like, I mean, this would be such a cool little map area right here to try to control that area. But yeah, so cool. I'm glad they're getting this added into the game. I'm excited to see this happen. But yeah, they're doing the balanced one, which I think is fine.
Which makes those more consistent maps that puts everyone on an even playing field.
Yeah, which I think is good. I would prefer that if you're going to go into a multiplayer game. So this is cool.
Settlements and commanders can now be renamed.
See? Then this. Again, why are we celebrating the first three things are just such basic things that have been in past Civ games? Like, I'm glad these are getting added, but not being able to rename stuff doesn't feel like a big feature that even should have taken this long. These are three things that I feel like should have been added into the game almost right away. If they were going to go on base launch, whatever. But why these weren't in the first update at the beginning of the month is wild to me, to be honest with you.
Into historically accurate city names. Well, we know sometimes you want to just name your city Ryzantium.
Yeah.
And now with this update,
that is true.
You can. Rerollers, rejoice. You can now restart the game with a
another thing that they should have had in the game right away. This one was probably the most confusing one because there's such a process from having to kind of reset your map and everything in the other, in the way it was before. So I'm glad this is getting added. This is fantastic.
Perfect first settlement.
Needed to be in the game.
Or if you're playing
it's going to help us a lot.
To get that perfect,
to be honest,
wonder
it'll help me a lot because I've had to play games where I'm like, I can't find the right map, but I don't want to have to go back through and do it again.
Seeds, but with your same leader and civ selections. And speaking of those natural wonders, we've got a brand new one coming.
Okay, Mount Everest being added. Great.
You'll also see various UI and quality of life updates coming to 1.1.1.
Okay, but we haven't seen those yet.
To start off with these UI updates, let's talk about the fact that the city and town panel will stay open after you buy things, so you can buy things in bulk more easily.
That is a nice addition as well.
Speaking of cities, we've added a new notification that appears when one of your cities is under attack, so less chance you'll be caught off guard when things are catching fire in your empire.
Okay, see again, like, why was that not already in the game? I don't think the notifications in the game are very good in general, to be honest with you. They felt so much better in past games. I don't, like, it's like these ones that are up here are just not as important, and then only the ones around the circle are, and they should have just have it all kind of get to be going. You should have to go through all of them.
Corner of the HUD.
I do like this. The indicators for crises are awesome. I think that is probably of all of these things, it's the most, obviously it's unique because crises are new to Civ 7, but this was so frustrating to just try to guess, when am I going to get that next crisis, update where I've got to add that crisis policy. Now being able to see it, it makes it just a little bit easier, I think, for even casual players especially.
When your prices are going to trigger or escalate. And with the lenses, we have enhanced the trade
This is a good one too.
So that can be opened directly from the lenses panel.
Thank God.
And a merchant that is selected with it.
Trading is still not good. They don't, unless if they add stuff in 1.1.1 that I didn't, or that we haven't seen yet, I should say, or and that they don't talk about on here. This is still good, but it just
this target city can
and then you can send the merchant. That is
right from that link.
Oh my gosh, again, something that should have been in the game right away. I have no idea why nobody thought of that, but it happens when you're building a game this complex. That's the kind of thing that is forgivable for me. I can be okay with that, and I'm glad it's getting added. But there are other parts where I'm just like, why was this not there right away?
It's also enhanced to be very clear about exactly what type of resource it is.
There we go. This is good. Needed to happen.
Or perhaps
can't believe that wasn't in the game to start either, but that's okay.
The highlights of the UI changes you can expect in this update.
Anything else? I can't remember.
We'll have many more to come in future updates. Check out the full notes for 1.1.1 when they release. For
which we're getting
more
on
details
Tuesday.
On improvements to tooltips.
They're doing this live stream.
Overall readability.
I don't know why they wouldn't put this out on Tuesday, but it's fine.
Let's move on and talk about pacing. We've made some
this is a big. These are big changes right here. I love these.
A bit longer. So, for example, if you eliminate a player in Modern, it's no longer going to add any progress to the age progress meter.
Yeah, this was a big deal. I know Connor and I were just talking about this. He had a game where it was like he was like halfway through the age basically, and he won. So I think that this is a nice bit because I think the Modern age needed some love without a doubt. This is crazy though. Having the exploration age, I am really surprised. I'm going to be honest with you. The exploration age feels a little long, but not terribly long in my mind. I think it's because they're having other issues with the exploration age that they're just not addressing right now, and they just kind of want to get people through them because I still have the opinion, and I know a lot of people don't, but I think Antiquity and Modern are the two best ages, with Antiquity being the best one by far. I think Modern is not a close second, but is second. And then I have not enjoyed the exploration age whatsoever in any of my playthroughs. So I'm okay with this getting halved, but I think this has to do with like treasure fleet issues and just general pacing issues of the game overall. Again, I did this in another video where I talked about how I felt like there needed to be a medieval age and then an exploration age, but which I've found that I've gotten some support on that, and then other people who've been like, they can't even get the 3 ages right. Why would you ask for another one? I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, I think that this is a good...
That's going to allow you to
these are two good changes, but surprising ones,
more
to say the
easily
least.
Before the time runs out on age progress. We're also going to make it tougher to blow through the modern tech and civic
Yeah,
trees too
this is
quickly.
good too.
Our costs overall have
When you're
been
playing
increased
like
by
the
about
Maya, this is a
25%.
direct nerf
The weighting on
to
that is deep in those trees. So
you know,
it's
playing Maya
especially
early,
those
obviously,
final
and
tech
some
and
of
civic
the
you need to finish out the game. They're going
science
to take a
and
little bit longer. We've
you know,
also been
Civ
working on the
leaders are
communication
just a
between
little too
you and your
strong.
military advisor to make sure you're ready for any age transition.
Sorry, I was stupid of me. I was kind of listening. I know the Maya are in antiquity age, but I'm just saying, like, once you set all of that up, you get to modern and everything. It could be quick. I think if you guys watch Connor's Let's Play, he is literally getting like a new tech like every 2 or 3 turns. So that was a good addition.
Transitions in the game.
This is a big
warning
one
will
too,
come
by the
out
way.
if you don't have enough commanders to pack up your units and keep them with you for that transition that's coming.
This is crazy. I did not know that this was a thing. I will be honest with you. This has been one of my biggest complaints about the age transitions is that you lose units. And maybe I just missed it. Maybe I'm stupid and you guys all noticed it. I don't remember anybody really talking about this on Reddit, anywhere, to be honest with you. When Connor and I saw this, we're like, wait, what? That is pretty crazy that your commanders are what allows you to keep your certain units. I actually like that explanation of it. It's a little bit annoying, to be honest with you, to just randomly lose units that aren't able to pack in with your commanders. But, like, to be honest with you, it makes sense, right? Like, you keep that legion, whatever, that group together, and then your other ones just kind of fall to the wayside. I'm okay with that, but I wish that this would have been explained. They talked about how you need to play through the tutorial and do all this stuff, right? Like, I don't remember that being mentioned. Again, maybe I just missed it, to be honest with you, but I do not remember this being mentioned. So this is a nice quality of life change, to say the least.
If you see this warning, buy a few, build a few, somehow get a few more commanders out there on the map with you.
Yeah, that's good.
Towns with a trade output focus have also been changed.
This is good.
Before they gave a +5 trade route range just for that one specific town, but now that additional trade range boost applies to all of your settlements.
This is big. That means you can only have one trade route town and you're going to get that +5. If you are doing economy, this is going to be massive. I love this change. It's going to make me more likely to honestly pick when I'm specializing a town. I might, especially if I'm playing, you know, with an economic focus in the game, I might do that +5 town like right at the start. Like, this makes it from being probably one of the worst towns because you'd have to try to place it correctly, and then if you're doing any conquering, then it kind of makes it useless. It just makes it better. You need to have at least one, basically, and I'm happy with that. That's great.
This is going to hopefully make it easier for you to build roads to connect your towns and cities, and makes this town specialization a bit more useful overall.
Yes, I agree.
We've also made adjustments and balance passes to the Railroad Tycoon
This needed to happen.
By upping the cost
I mean, this
of
is a
factories,
significant
ports, and rail
nerf, though,
stations,
to be
and
honest.
changing the bonuses provided by coal and oil. So these
Significant,
are some of the pacing highlights,
to say the
but
least.
There's a lot more to discover, so be sure to check out the
Now, there's
full
going to be
patch
one more
notes when they
thing
release on March
that
25th.
the community
In the
manager is going to
meantime,
talk about
we'll be
that's
working
worth us
hard,
talking about here
more
for a second,
fixes,
too. And then I'll give you
updates,
guys
and
kind of my
polish.
thoughts overall.
We hope you enjoy this update, and stay tuned for the next one.
So, yeah, she's going to talk about something big here. That's very much worth mentioning. I may even do a full video on this at some point. You guys will have to let me know if you feel like I should or not.
That was a little sneak peek of what's coming in tomorrow's update. We'll have the full patch notes releasing tomorrow too, so definitely take a look. There is even more to come. I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's been playing the game and who's been leaving feedback for the team. It continues to be so extremely helpful. So thank you for
Keep leaving feedback, guys. It does help.
Or Steam or our official Discord. Like I said, it's all
really
super
does.
helpful as we work to continue improving Civ 7. And on that same vein of improving Civ 7, I also have a small announcement to make. As we continue to focus wholly on improving the full game, we are now targeting Right to Rule later this summer. We'll share more details about this soon, but our team is super committed to taking in your feedback and just making sure that we are building the best game that we possibly can for our players.
Okay, now they then go into the multiplayer stuff, and I'll be honest with you, like, if you want to see, we are going to have videos coming out this week that are going to discuss Simone Bolivar and Bulgaria and Nepal getting added to the game. I'll be doing, like I said, a little bit more of a deep dive on the patch notes tomorrow as well, but I wanted to get this out there because this is one of the big things I wanted to talk about is the right to rule getting pushed back. I'm anticipating there's some good and bad about this, right? Bad is that anytime that like a core part of a game is getting pushed back, whether it's a DLC, whether it's the game itself, right? Whether it's a core update, that could be bad. What I think is that instead of them trying to balance and add a bunch of stuff in right to rule, because I'm guessing it's going to change the game significantly, I think right to rule may even be where we get our fourth age that has been, hinted at, discussed, whatever, beyond the modern age, whatever they're going to call it. I think that could be coming in right to rule, which is why they're going to be moving stuff back. If it's not coming in right to rule, it's going to be coming in the next DLC. I feel very confident about that because otherwise I just don't know. Maybe we'll just never get a fourth age that's going to take us into the truly modern era. I don't know. I think that they are kind of reconsidering how they're going to do that stuff. I wouldn't even be surprised if it gets pushed back a little bit more. But late summer means that like this content update that we are getting this week, March 24th, 2025 is going to be the last one that we are going to get for a few months here. So, probably 4 or 5 months, which is pretty significant in my mind. I think that they were going to try to do 3 DLC this year. I think we might get 2 parts to right to rule and then maybe something at the very end of the year or early next year, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's fine. That is what it is. I do think for, all of us who paid for it, I would like to see them maybe give us a little bit of something for it being pushed back. I think that this has been a little bit clunky in terms of their rollout, but either way, my point is that, getting back to everything, this extra time shows that they are going to be putting in a lot more time to UI fixes, to making the game better. I mean, like I said, the player rate is decreasing. I think it's gotten close to what Civ 5's is right now, maybe less even in peak daily players. I'd have to go back and check, but I remember seeing something about that on Reddit, and I just couldn't believe it. I mean, it makes sense, but it's just sad because everybody's so hyped. We only get one of these games every 7 years or whatever. Maybe closer to 10 actually. And it's just like, this game has so much promise. So I want them to take their time and dive into things and make it better. Yes, I was complaining about parts of this early on where it's like, that should have been in the game from the start. I'm just glad it's getting added, right? Like they could just ignore it and just be like, hey, we're just going to do what we were planning on doing. But they've seen us talk about it. They're pushing things forward is what it feels like, and pushing back things like DLC so that then they can hit the areas that we have been having problems with. I know that I have not felt the same love for this game as I did with 4, 5, and 6, even 3 to a certain degree, right? Like, there have been days where I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, do I want to play this today? Do I really want to? And I do still love the game. I think it's very fun, but it's just like, I will run into one of these issues that we've been having, right? Like, I still have a problem with some of the way that, age transitions goes. And I sit there and I get to that point and I'm like, oh, that was a little unfun. I didn't enjoy that portion of it. Or I've been having a problem if you've been watching my Let's Play of Treasure Fleets. We're halfway through the age and nobody has gotten a single treasure fleet yet. I think they still have a long way to go on reworking the way that, economy goes in the exploration age. I still think that that's the age that needs the most fine-tuning and adjustments and changes, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised to see them do that potentially here soon. Like, I think we're going to get a really big update. Sorry, I hit the mic. A really big update in early June, maybe mid-May. That's going to have like a ton of just improvements to the game, to be honest with you. And that's probably why they're moving right to rule back. I also think if they make the game better, more people will be likely to buy the DLC, right? Because a lot of people may have only bought, this Crossroads of the World DLC and the main game. Some people may have just bought the main game and they're not getting any of the stuff from Crossroads of the World. So, there's a lot that goes into this, to say the least. But, I want to give them credit in terms of just, they are listening. They are making changes as it needs to happen. I just don't love that they are, trying to sing their praises and leading off with, multiple different, basic parts of the game that should have been in there from the start. Like, hey, look at this, it's in there. Some of like the things that he talked about even later in the video were more significant in my mind, and bigger changes that are not just like basic things that should be in the game. You know, they're things that are like, oh, okay, like it would make sense that maybe they wouldn't think about this or see this. They're adjusting the game to balance and like they said, pace better throughout. And I still have a full belief before you decide, oh, Rob's just here crapping on this. No, I still believe that this could be the best Civilization that has ever been made. The problem is that there are changes they have to make to get there, to be honest with you guys. And I've got a lot of them. We're making different videos on them where we're talking about them. So I hope you guys will check those out. But like, so you could get more thoughts specifically on this. But like, this shift, this paradigm shift, like they made this update cool. They're doing the multiplayer stuff. I don't personally care that much about it. If you do, great. I think that's awesome. Like, I like multiplayer, but I'm talking about them playing it and, kind of walking us through what these civs are like and everything. I think that's great and everything, but, this first part was very significant to show that they are listening. They're patting themselves a little bit on the back for stuff that I'm not exactly a fan of, but we got the Right to Rule DLC getting moved back, and I'm hopeful that that means that there are going to be major changes coming over the next few months. And I hope that you guys are excited about it too, because again, this game can still be great, but we'll have to see what happens, moving forward, and we're going to have to put our trust that the same people who made games that we all love, 5 and 6, a lot of them have had, the same devs, that they will listen, understand, and kind of, they took big swings with Civ 7, very big swings that changed the game radically, to say the least. I do not mind those. But they have to find a way to make it so that those are not just big swings, but are able to be fun and allow for people to still who are not just the new players that they're trying to attract, but also for us older players who really love the game, right, and who have been playing the game for multiple decades at this point, for me and probably a lot of you out there. They still have to hit the game for those players as well, because you can grab all the new players you want, but it's the people like us who have kept this series going for so many decades at this point. And we want to, be able to enjoy the game too. So I'm not saying that they're not thinking about that, but it just definitely has felt like this game was made to attract as many new players, make it as simple as possible so that new people could get into the game. And I love that. It's going to make the series better as well. But I think hopefully now they're making those changes for players like myself and like probably a lot of you out there who love Civ games, who just not necessarily enjoyed some of the big changes that have been made. So let me know what you guys think. As always, I appreciate it. But that is going to wrap it up for us on this one. So from our house to yours, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join us for one more turn.